Good morning, RosterWatch Nation. It's your friendly neighborhood trash man. Back to kick around all the scuttlebutt in NFL free agency right now. That's such a funny word, scuttlebutt. I think Byron popularized it for me. Wasn't a term I was used to using for probably obvious reasons, but I'm starting to embrace it more. I hope you're doing well this morning. It's a balmy, dreary day in Austin, Texas. The beginning of April. Maybe we'll get some rain. We definitely need it here in Central Texas. Not much movement as far as free agency goes over the past 24 hours. Quarterback Sam Ehlinger was drafted. Well, not drafted, was signed by Denver. It was announced on Wednesday. Ehlinger is 26. Started 3 of 8 games played since taken by the Colts in the 6th round of the 2021 NFL Draft. He's 0-3 in those starts. He hasn't won a game. 63.4 completion percentage. 573 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The signing is purely to bolster that quarterback room behind Bo Nix. Hopefully, Bo Nix does not miss a game this season. If Sam Ehlinger is the direct backup to Bo Nix, continues to be, then I think the Broncos might be in trouble if Nix goes down. No, they definitely will be in trouble if Nix goes down. Sam Ehlinger, former UT Longhorn, wasn't bad as a Longhorn. But he hasn't shown that he has the right stuff for the NFL. We'll see. The only other signing, well, as far as skill positions go, since yesterday morning, tight end Jordan Pataya, a former rugby player. We've talked a little bit about rugby on here. Signed a deal with the Chargers as part of the International Pathway Program. Sounds like something that one of my friends did in high school. Went to another country, stayed with a family, ate some good food. That might be the extent to which Jordan Pataya has with the Chargers. Eat some good food in LA. Whether he actually sees the field for any significant action in the NFL, any real action in the NFL, is yet to be seen. But it's cute. And I mean, these rugby players, I have to give them their due, their credit. I think I've always kind of been a little out on rugby. I didn't used to think that they were as tough as hockey players or NFL players. But I'm coming around on that. And I mean, the fact that they don't wear any sort of protection, really, besides maybe a jock strap, that definitely lends some credence to the assertion that they are just as tough as any other athlete in a pro sport. And why wouldn't they come to the NFL if they had the chance? Why wouldn't they want that bigger paycheck and that bigger stage? Well, I know rugby's big worldwide, but it's just different somehow. No other signings happened over the last 24 hours, but We did find out that Russell Wilson will continue to wear number 3 with the Giants. The famed number 3. When you think about the number 3 jersey, do you think about Russell Wilson? If not, who do you think about? Anyway, the number was previously donned by former first-round pick Deonte Banks, who will now wear number 2. Wilson was so kind as to thank Banks on social media for allowing him to keep number 3. That's another sweet, heartwarming story. First, we have the International Pathway Program, bringing in international players, giving them a shot, the NFL. And now we have current NFL players giving up their numbers, their current numbers to, incoming players who probably won't be there that long, to be honest. Good morning, Jamie. RosterWatch Nation, that's who we are. Thanks for saying hey. Thanks for reasserting that. Something we never want to forget. Wide receiver Brandon Ayuk's 2026 option bonus was triggered on Tuesday. He's now $24.875 million this year and $27 million in 26. They couldn't get rid of him. Ayuk's $76 million that was effectively guaranteed at signing is now fully guaranteed. So Ayuk has his money. He's getting paid. The question is, does that affect his effort on the field? That's the age-old question is, once a player gets paid, do they remain hungry? Do they have anything to prove? I mean, we've seen it work both ways. I mean, I think Ayuk has a chip on his shoulder. So maybe he continues to put his foot forward and producing for the 49ers. I mean, he just has Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall behind him, really. He may continue to produce just by default. He's now their best after the catch guy. It was debatable when Samuels was on the team. Samuel, who's now a Commander. I don't know. I still think the 49ers could use some wide receiver help. They need somebody to bring up. They need another guy to bring up in that system. I think they might do a little bit in the draft. Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, nice guy, said quarterback J.J. McCarthy has exceeded every checkpoint. I don't know if that was an attempt to dodge whether they were bringing Aaron Rodgers, who seems almost intent on joining the Vikings, forcing his way onto that team, refusing to sign with the Steelers just yet. I think he wants to be a Viking. Adofo-Mensah did not rule out adding more quarterbacks, saying the team is going to look to always add depth to that room. So it looks like they have confidence in McCarthy, but it looks like they also will continue to look to add depth to the room. Why shouldn't they? McCarthy is largely unproven. Helming, one of the better receiving cores in the league as their quarterback. You want an insurance policy in case something does go awry with McCarthy, like it did last season. The injury bug can strike at any point. And so the saga continues. Jamie says number 3 should be for punters and kickers. That's probably true. Oh. According to Adam Schefter and the Draft Rankings show, Joe Milton has officially been traded to the Cowboys. Wow. Jamie breaking it too. It was speculated that the Cowboys were looking for, or maybe sniffing around Joe Milton, him being one of the only free agency quarterbacks available that, we don't really know the upside, the extent of his upside. Cooper Rush has gone to Baltimore. The Cowboys needed a backup. So it makes sense to bring in Milton. Milton, so far in his career, 75.9 completion percentage in 2024 with the Patriots. 1 touchdown to 0 interceptions, a 111.4 quarterback rating. Not bad. Played his college ball at Michigan first, then Tennessee. 2 marquee programs. The guy's 6'5", 247 pounds. Talking about tush push. Get that guy under center. He would vie. I mean, I'd love to see the Cowboys play the Eagles with Milton under center and just, see who could out tush push the other. He was a 6th-round pick in 2024. Played behind Jacoby Brissett and fellow rookie Drake May last year. I mean, in the one game he played, like I said, good quarterback rating. He actually won the game. They beat the Bills at the beginning in January this year. I guess it really wasn't a game of any consequence. For the Patriots. But maybe the Patriots, maybe this is revenge on Milton for winning that game and knocking them out of contention for the first overall pick in 2025. Maybe that was a no thank you. Take us out of the top pick. Make us look bad for not playing you more this season. Or maybe they saw that they had a valuable trade asset potentially based off of that one game. Why not sell him high? had that one game under his belt where he played well. Have teams come after him, and you may not necessarily be taking the hit that others think you might be. So the trade was Milton and a 7th for the Cowboys' 5th round. Easy. I mean, it's not like the Cowboys would probably do anything good with that pick anyway. So now Dak has a backup that, I don't know, if and when Prescott gets hurt this season, Milton's going to get a shot, and he's going to have a good offense to helm. So I like this for the Cowboys. I like this for Milton. Milton, NFL pedigree. He has a not so little known cousin that goes by the name of Anquan Bolden, Super Bowl winner. I mean, looking at their builds, you can see the resemblance. But that's good pedigree. That's good stock. He's got a big arm. He's got a big body. I mean, if Prescott just doesn't play well enough, you could see calls for Milton from the Cowboys faithful or unfaithful, depending how you look at it. I think the faithful have pretty much had it up to here with Dak already, to be honest. So maybe the Cowboys are trying to stoke a fire under Dak. I don't know. Maybe the trade rumors to Cleveland first, and now bringing in Milton. I mean, they had to bring in somebody, but they're bringing in a guy who looks pretty good. Honestly, I'd like to see him get his shot based off of that, that small sample from this past season. I'd like to see what he can do as a Cowboy. I mean, we know what Dak is capable of and what he's not capable of. Hasn't been capable of taking them anywhere in the playoffs. He's another one of these guys that plays just well enough to keep his job, just well enough for the team not to trade him, but keeps the team mired in mediocrity for years. I mean, you could say this has been kind of a common thread in Cowboys quarterbacks since Troy Aikman. So Joseph J. Milton, former Patriot, now a Cowboy. Want to see what he can do. With the rest of my time, I wanted to talk about the free agents that are left, the best free agents that are left. And where they might end up, where they should end up, rather. The first of these being Keenan Allen. Well, I guess should we start with the best free agent available? Yeah, let's start with the best free agent available. And that would be probably Amari Cooper. I mean, I guess there's an argument that Keenan Allen is better than Amari Cooper, has been better than Amari Cooper at times. But Amari Cooper, age 30, formerly of the Bills. I'm kind of wary on Cooper right now, just because I'm not really sure why he hasn't been picked up by a team just yet. That's kind of strange to me. Consider he's one of the bigger names in free agency. Why hasn't he been taken yet? And where should he go? I mean, for me, with Cooper and Allen, I think that the Steelers, I mean, why not have just like a triumvirate there? Metcalf and Pickens on the outside. I mean, I think Keenan Allen might be a better fit there. And Allen playing the slot. That is a stout receiving core. And one that I think even Aaron Rodgers could thrive with. I mean, he'd probably want some veterans in that receiving core. Allen on the inside, Metcalf, Pickens opposite each other. I mean, that makes a formidable bunch. Cooper, though, I mean, I think it would make sense for him to go somewhere like Tennessee. It's not sexy. But then Cooper isn't a sexy player right now. Tennessee could use his skill set, his veteran's demeanor. But Cooper doesn't have a lot to show for his time in Buffalo. I mean, arguably his best game was the AFC Championship game. The loss to the Chiefs, 4 of 4 for 33 yards. And that game, his 32 snaps were tied for the most he'd had since week 8 as a Bill. I mean, what does that say about Cooper? That he couldn't really find a place, find his role on a Bills team that was not rife with proven wide receiver talent. I mean, Keon Coleman looks good. Khalil Shakir is looking better. I didn't always think Shakir looked good. I didn't think he looked good at the Senior Bowl. He was not one of my favorite receiver prospects going into that draft. But he's arguably the best receiver on the Bills. And Cooper couldn't find his way onto the field. You know? Mac Hollins. Is he better than Cooper Kupp at this point in his career? Did I say Cooper Kupp or did I say Amari Cooper? I mean, some would say you could argue either. Actually, no one would say that about Cooper Kupp. I mean, what is Amari Cooper's value? Is he a wide receiver 3? I mean, right now he's more wide receiver 4. I mean, depending on where he lands, you might not even draft the guy. But like I said, I could see him in Tennessee. I could see him going back to the Raiders. You know, where he languished in fantasy obscurity because he just couldn't hold on to the ball. You remember that? Like Cooper it was just like he just had terrible hands. for whatever reason. It had to be a psychological thing, because he was able to turn it on when he went elsewhere. You know, as a Cowboy, he was pretty good. But he had been known for dropping a lot of passes, a lot of concentration drops. And maybe now his head just isn't in the game. I don't know if Amari Cooper loves football, or at least anymore. Maybe that's okay. I mean, that definitely is okay. But for me, I think Allen is maybe the better prospect at this point in their careers, and the better free agent. So like I said, as far as Allen goes, I'd love to see him as a Steeler. I think it would fit. It'd be a good fit. Where else could Allen go? Allen could go to the Jets. I could see him there. There's a slot man there, another veteran presence for a young quarterback and a pretty young receiving core otherwise. Some storied programs, Steelers, Jets. I see him fitting in on either one of those squads. I mean, I could see him going to Miami. I know that Jonnu Smith, is working well as a tight end there, catching balls, being a presence over the middle. But they don't really have a slot guy there either. And with Tyreek Hill wanting to get traded, having a continuous presence there as a chain mover, I think that'd be a boon for the Dolphins. I think he'd also work. I think he'd work with the Saints. I think the Saints could use really any viable pass catcher at this point. I mean, Carr would love it. Big body presence underneath for him to not have to throw it that far too. Get Allen on your team, draft Jonty. You still got Kamara there, that two-headed beast in the backfield, and then, get close to the end zone, toss it to Allen. That makes a lot of sense to me. There's a lot of potential landing spots for the 32-year-old Allen, who I think he had like 7 touchdowns this past season. I mean, I think it was his second most touchdowns he'd had in his career, or matched it. He still has a nose for the end zone. He could still be an asset in fantasy. Anyways, those are the guys who are left, really. Skill position guys. I mean, you got J.K. Dobbins. Still needs to land with the team. Oh, Jamie had said Malik Washington can be the slot receiver on the Dolphins. He could. I like Malik Washington. And I mean, and with the Allen thing, it was all just kind of speculation, but it's a more direct path for Malik Washington to be the slot guy for the Dolphins. I don't know that he would have the touchdown equity that Allen does. I mean, I know that he wouldn't. I mean, and I just like a big body presence because it's the same reason that Jonnu Smith is asserting his dominance there. I mean, Hill, Waddle, they're smaller guys. Malik Washington's another smaller guy. I mean, speed kills, yeah, but you want a big body or two in there in the red zone. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying there, Jamie. Anyways, it was a slow day yesterday. in fantasy and free agency. Only a few names left to move, to find homes. And they may not find them until after the draft. Which we're champing at the bit to see. This is going to be a good draft. Cody and Alex, I'm sure we'll talk about it at length in a few hours. You stick around for that. Thanks for joining me this morning. This has been the Trash Man on behalf of RosterWatch.com. Till next time, be ready.
This is Anthony Richardson. You're listening to Roster Watch.